If you have knee osteoarthritis, it's very likely that your doctor has completely forbidden exercises like squats. But what if squats are actually one of the best ways to strengthen your quadriceps and protect your knee? The problem is that we always have this idea in mind when we talk about doing squats, but that's not true. There are many ways to do squats that are much simpler and much more adapted to your abilities. So you can strengthen that knee safely and so you don't miss out on one of the best tools to improve your muscles. And that's what I'm going to show you here today. 6 different squat variations that even a 90-year-old person and a 5-year-old child could do at home without any problem. To do the exercises, you'll only need a wall and a pair of dumbbells if you want to increase the difficulty. And also the broomstick that we have over there in the corner. Let's go for it. The first variation is the isometric squat, which we call isometric, meaning there's no movement but there is muscle contraction. What better way to strengthen your legs than with an exercise that doesn't produce movement and therefore has no impact on the joint? My advice is to stand with your back against the wall, place one heel right against the wall, and then place the other heel next to it. In front of your big toe, place both feet side by side, and from here, sit down against the wall, so that your knees are slightly bent and your shin, your lower leg, is completely vertical. Rest the back of your neck, your shoulders, and your buttocks, close your eyes, and hold the position. This is an extremely simple level, but it can help very sedentary people or very elderly people to start working their quadriceps. The trick here is to hold the position for a long time. If I stay here for half an hour or an hour, I'm sure I'll feel the effort. However, since it's a very low-intensity exercise, I hardly feel any effort at all. Don't worry, because if this level seems too easy for you, we're going to see many more so you can work according to your abilities. Alright, I'll lift my buttocks off the wall and let's try the next step. I move forward a little, 1 foot forward, then I move the opposite foot forward a little as well. And again, I sit down, but wow, look, now the wall is much farther away. I recommend placing your hands until your buttocks are resting on it. Here we see that by placing your feet a bit further forward, you can bend your knees a little more. Let's continue with a second variation, with 45 degrees of flexion. It's not so simple here, is it? We can't joke around as much anymore. After just a couple of seconds, I already start to feel muscle contraction in the entire front part of the quadriceps, and I notice that there's muscle strength. By the way, always do this exercise barefoot, so your foot doesn't slip and your skin can stick well to the floor. To the park, to the tile, to whatever surface. We place the back of the neck, those shoulders back, support ourselves, and hold for between 45 and 60 seconds. After finishing one set, we rest, then do a second, third, and fourth. I always recommend doing 4 sets of 60 seconds, at least once a day in this case. I've already been here talking for about 30 seconds, and as you can see, I can already feel these quadriceps working a bit more. What once seemed like a joke is now serious, letting us work harder. Suppose this level is actually easy for you. Don't worry, I have another one. Move just a bit, slide your feet forward. Again, place your hands and rest your buttocks against the wall. This could really be a level 3. Instead of keeping your legs at 45 degrees, watch I lower them to 90 with buttocks, shoulders, and neck resting. Here, things change a lot, right? I've only been at it for about 10 seconds and I can already feel that very intense muscle contraction in my quadriceps. I don't know if I'd be able to hold out for a minute. As I mentioned, we can do sets of 30, 45, or 60 seconds, always resting in between. And again, here we're working isometrically at this level. I always recommend having a chair or table nearby so you can stand up straight after finishing the exercise, because your knees will be so tired that it's very likely you'll have a hard time getting up. So as a safety measure, a chair, the cane can also work, a table, or a person to help us. And obviously, this level is not recommended for older people, but rather it's intended for people who have slightly higher athletic abilities. Very well, we have seen 2 or 3 variations of how to work that muscle contraction at the quadriceps level, isometrically, without any movement in the knees. To move on to higher difficulties, we need to introduce movement, okay? What we call isotonic movement. Let's go back to the starting position then. I press my heel to the wall, place it in front of my big toe, and remain in position. Notice how we've already started doing squats without any real impact, without strong impact on the knees. So, what is really the problem with squats? Maybe it's that we have a very bad concept of them, and maybe the people who forbid them don't know that there are different shades of gray, so you can choose the tone that works well for you. That's what's important. We add isotonic movement and knee movement while strengthening since we've moved away from the wall to introduce movement. Okay, I want you to really focus on your hips and your glutes, and I want you to push those glutes back as if you were sitting down on a chair. There will come a moment when, as you push those glutes back, your glutes will touch the wall. Here my glutes are touching the wall, and therefore now I can return to the starting position. We work on squats, but in a very limited range of motion, which makes the exercise completely safe. I recommend putting your hands here in front to support yourself at all times, to be safe. Lower your buttocks until they touch the wall, and from here return to the starting position. As you go down, you can feel those muscles contracting, both on the way down and on the way up. Muscles more contracted and firmer. What a great way to work those leg muscles accessible to everyone, safely, by doing squats, something your doctor might never have thought was possible. Different shades of gray, different possibilities. You just have to choose the one that best suits your abilities. And if this one is too difficult, well, we can just take a small step back. And what's going to happen? The buttocks will meet the wall much sooner, and the movement will be more limited. That's good. We can keep moving forward to make it a bit more challenging. When we do squats, we don't do 30, 45, or 60 seconds like isometrics. Instead, we use repetitions. Each time you touch the wall and push off counts as 1, then 2, and so on. When we reach 10, we've completed one set, and we need to do 4 sets of 10, at least once a day. The key is to pick a difficulty level that suits you and stick with it consistently over time. And eventually come back to this video, check the difficulties again, and level up. There are more variations, but before we continue, I want to mention we can make the exercise harder by adding weight. For example, if I grab these dumbbells and do an isometric squat at 45 degrees, this will create more resistance, more work for the quadriceps. If I grab some weight and do an isotonic squat by moving my glutes back, obviously I'm a bit far. This will obviously make the exercise harder by increasing resistance. So within the exercise itself, we can level up, and within each exercise, we can increase the weight to make it a bit more challenging. As you can see, there are many ways to adapt it to your abilities. Let's continue with the next one. We were doing isometric squats, bending the hips properly, touching that wall with your buttocks. It's very important back here. Until your buttocks touch the wall, you don't come forward again. It's essential that your shin is practically vertical, that you focus on bending here, and that your knees don't move forward. Not because you're going to hurt your knees, but because the right technique is here to work your muscles properly. This way, we're working our feet more than anything else. If you see that touching your glutes to the wall works well and you want to add more difficulty, well, level 4, level 5, I don't even know which ones anymore. Move your feet forward slightly and repeat. I bend my hips, and here I practically reach a 60-degree bend. I return to the starting position, and instead of putting my hands here in front, I place them on both sides at my waist, touch back, and move forward. And like this, I would repeat the exercise 10 times, which is very easy. I can move forward a little again with my toes, those feet, and go down and come back, go down and come back. When we do the isotonic exercise, the movement of lowering the buttocks backward, we have to avoid letting the knees collapse inward. It's one of the most common and dangerous mistakes. To do it correctly, I always recommend placing your feet well outward, with the toes pointing outward. This way, as you can see, the knees go outward and don't tend to cave in. Don't worry, as long as you don't bend your knees much, nothing will happen. And I'm going to show you a very important, very good little trick that you can start using right now to improve it. Imagine this squat, hands on your waist, barely touching the wall, works well, and you want to make it more challenging. We move forward again, a little more. Now we no longer touch the wall with our butt, we're too far away. We'll bring our fists together in front, elbows out, and as I go down, I want my elbows to touch my knees. This way, I make sure at all times that my knees don't cave inwards. we can see how we're gradually raising the difficulty and depth. A very simple and very safe way to work on that squat depth. Even with this variation, I like to grab some weight, hold it between my hands, and use it as a reference point. Elbows touch knees, then up. The good thing about this is that we avoid bending the knees too much, and we always stay within a very safe range. Imagine this last level works for you, and you can do 10 reps without pain or discomfort. We could move on to a full free squat with the stick, where I place that stick right behind my shoulders. Let me even it out a little here, and we repeat the same exercise. I no longer touch the back part. My knees are already controlled. I don't need my elbows to touch them, and I go down as far as I can. If it's very low, great. If it's high, that's fine. The key point I want you to understand is, of course, the thing is that the squat should adapt as much as possible to your abilities, and you shouldn't leave it aside just because someone told you not to do it. Because most people in the healthcare field don't even know that we can approach it from different levels of difficulty. And that's really the key. There's no black or white. It doesn't exist. Should I exercise or shouldn't I? There are different shades of gray that adapt to you and allow you to do it correctly. Let's recap because we've seen many squat variations, so you can stick with the one you like the most. We started with an isometric hold, long against the wall, a slight knee bend, and we advanced this by increasing it, bending the knees a little more. Here we have 60, here we have 90 degrees. If this works well, then we can try with the isometrics. Feet shoulder width apart, toes pointing out, bend at the hips down until the wall touches my buttocks, and then I come back up. If that goes well, we move forward gradually, continuing only if it goes well, until our buttocks no longer touch the wall. In this case, we can place our hands in front to limit that deeper squat. At any level, we can add weight if we want to increase difficulty. We can take that stick, place it behind us, and do that deeper squat with more resistance. This may seem complicated, but the key is to just start. You're welcome. Does theory matter if you never put it into practice? It's that simple. Try them all, choose what feels best, and you'll make progress. 4 sets, 45-60 seconds for isometrics, 10 reps for isotonic exercises, those with movement, at least daily. It's true that improving knee pain and osteoarthritis requires more than just strengthening exercises. There are 2 other essential pillars, which are mobility and stability, so that you can finally have a knee of steel and manage to get rid of the pain, not just now, but for the rest of your life. That's why, if you've made it this far, you've shown real commitment to your knee's health. I want to give you a brief, very interesting class to help open your eyes. What are really the best strategies to eliminate knee pain for life? So it's about accessing them. Just click up in the top right corner of the video where you'll find a card. Go in, watch the video, and become aware of your problem. That's all. I hope you can share this video with people who need it. People with knee pain or knee osteoarthritis and those told don't move if you have pain are unrelated groups. Even if you have a worn out joint, moving won't cause more wear. That wear happens because of other causes. Very different ones, like genetics, the amount of inflammatory substances you've had in your body, and the quality of your rest. Many times we've associated movement and weight with a weakened structure, but that's really not the case. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for making it to the end of the video, and I hope to see you again very soon in one of my other videos. Bye, friends.